All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the semifinals of Coach Rivals Summer 2023. My name is Pathfinder. I'm joined here by Zvi, and today it's going to be Control+Alt+Defeat versus You're Gotta Be Kidding Me.
Yeah, this is bound to be a really exciting match. It's the first seed versus the fifth seed, with I believe their regular season records were 13-1 and 6-8. So while that seems kind of lopsided, I am still expecting a really good match today, as Urgotta Be Kidding Me has really leveled up throughout the season.
Yes, absolutely. They didn't start the season particularly on their best foot, but they've come back really, really nicely. They won against Shiny Kitsune in the playoff quarterfinals, which is an upset. And meanwhile, Control+Alt+Defeat, I believe they defeated Onar to gain their quarterfinal spot. So definitely it's going to be a clash of two titans here today.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how these games go. These teams, while they both have strong bot lanes, they have fundamentally different ways they want to play the game. Typically, you see, or gotta be kidding me, going for just a really strong, well-rounded team comp, whereas Control+Alt+Defeat, it's typically just let's scale and blow them out pretty late.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the people on Control+Alt+Defeat that I think has been pivotal to their success is Eric, Eric29. He is their ADC, and I believe he was a Masters player. I think he's currently Diamond, even though he hasn't played ranked recently. But they have only lost one game during the normal season, and it was one of Eric's first losses in Coach Rivals.
Yeah, it was actually a really interesting experience. That was our team playing against him, Shiny Kitsune. Shout out to the boys. Our season's over, but hopefully, or gotta be kidding me, can take it all the way to the finals and make us look good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're both looking for at least game three, if possible, or maybe even an upset in your. Or gotta be kidding me, because like you said, they have tons of upset potential. They already did it to Shiny Kitsune. I'm sorry, Zv,
It,
but
it
it is
happened.
it is what it is. It happens. But I am going to be like cautious here. Or gotta be kidding me might have won, but Control+Alt+Defeat is again in a kind of a different league. 13-1 once again their record in the normal season. I don't know what their plan is going to be into this game. What do you think, Svi?
So for me, looking at all this, or gotta be kidding me, he's got a lot of pocket picks. They've obviously got a really strong Urgot top. Their jungler plays a ton of Lilia. Their support plays a lot of Maokai Senna. So you could try to ban out a bunch of those pocket picks, which a lot of teams did. And when champions like the Urgot were left up, the big Doge came in and popped off and showed why he was deserved to be named after the team.
Yep. As we hear from broadcast and production, we're going to be moving to draft soon. So let's see if our predictions here are going to bear fruit. What if you're Control+Alt+Defeat though? Or rather, what if you're going to be Urgotta kidding me? How would you take the bans against Control+Alt+Defeat?
I think if I'm gotta be kidding me, I want to ban away the things that make my life really awkward. One of the things is their top laner Bibobe. I think that's how it's pronounced. He has a Rek'Sai top. I don't know about you. I've never played against a Rek'Sai top before. I would just ban that out of comfortability.
All right, so Control+Alt+Defeat is already going to start off bans by banning Lux, which is pretty interesting considering that their mid lane also plays the champion.
The
Gotta
reason,
be. Hmm?
oh, my apologies. The reason they're banning it is because they go for Lux and a bot lane pretty regularly. But then that makes it extra confusing. Why did they ban both?
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta be kidding me, he's responded with Aatrox and Jax, two target bans for the top laner. So yeah, I think Aatrox patch 13.14, he was absolutely S plus tier. I heard has been nerfed though, so might not as be as strong as he was once. But again, the Jax ban comes through. Let's see what Control+Alt+Defeat is going to ban for the last one.
The Lilia, which means they're leaving up the Urgot, and unless Control+Alt+Defeat picks it, you've got to bet, or gotta be kidding me, he's going to be locking in that Urgot, and then either an Amumu or a Zac for Athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. And bot lane also has options here. The Maokai is still open, considering the fact that the Lux is banned out. So you gotta be kidding me. We'll have some leeway in their first part of their draft. We see the Ezreal being locked in for Control+Alt+Defeat, presumably that's going to be for their AD carry. That pick has been very pivotal for Eric for the entire season.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here looking at the bans, and I'm really surprised by how these bans went. I feel like there were a lot of one tricks that they could have banned out from or gotta be kidding me to get rid of those picks. The only one they took away was the Lilia, which they haven't played a bunch this season. Athletes typically been on one of those engages, like the Mumu or Zac that just got locked in. And there's the Urgot for the big Doge, bringing out the namesake in the semifinals, trying to do his team proud there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if I'm Urgot, be kidding me, these first two picks I'm absolutely happy with.
Oh
Zac
yeah.
and Urgot, that's going to be a pretty strong top side. Not very easy for Control+Alt+Defeat to respond, in my opinion. So they do pick the Trundle in this case. Interesting pick because I believe Pac-Man Monarch, their jungler, he also plays Volibear and Jarvan, a couple other champions that he's played, but he opts in for the Trundle against the Zac.
I think that makes a lot of sense, especially given that they probably think Urgotta be kidding me is going to lock in that Maokai support next. So they've got to make sure they've got to have a good way to get through all those things.
Yep, and I think the response here, once Urgot is picked, is going to be the Rumble. Again, I think that's going to be a pick for Bebo, their top laner. I think that Urgot Rumble matchup is a little bit, nuanced because Urgot is a ranged top laner, and Rumble will have to either, land a couple of missiles or use the shield as a gap closer before he can really use the flamethrower to his benefit.
Yeah, and I'm curious here what Urgotta be kidding me's thinking. So it is the Maokai. I figured it would just be an insta-lock Maokai. Urgotta be kidding me is taking a really big risk going with an insanely beefy front line of Zac, Urgot, Maokai, knowing that there are these shredders like the Trundle and the Rumble. If you're stuck on a Rumble ult or you're Trundle ulted, you're just going to get knocked down in the team fight.
Yeah, or gotta be kidding me. They have a really beefy front line, and they're very engagey, I would say. They'd have to make sure they execute fully as a team to make sure that Trundle or Rumble can't get the DPS that they need to shred through these tanks. However, if they can, delete a Trundle from or a Rumble with a wombo combo early on in the fight, that's actually a pretty good game plan coming in as we see Fiora and is that Victor being banned out.
So hear me out here. I think Gotta be kidding me, as awkward as it is, should ban Olaf. Oh my god, they did it. Thank goodness. If they go Olaf in any capacity, like I understand they've technically already locked in top and jungle, but there's nothing stopping that Rumble for flexing mid and having gone Olaf top. How are they going to stop an Olaf from getting on their backline? Which is a great reason why they banned it.
Yeah, interesting to see as well because Olaf can unstoppable Urgot's ultimate. So it is gonna be a very hard counter for Urgot if it is gonna be Olaf. So Urgot to be kidding me, they do decide to lock in the Caitlyn. I believe that is one of their signature picks for their AD carry. See what Control+Alt+Defeat responds with here.
So Control+Alt+Defeat still presumably has to lock in their support and mid laner. Support, I would guess, is going to be Emilio or a Karma to pair really well with the Ezreal. As far as mid lane goes,
Yeah.
your guess is as good as mine. I kind of like Sylas into this comp. There's a lot of juicy ults I would want to take. Urgot ult on Sylas, Zac ult on Sylas, especially the Maokai ult on Sylas. But at the same time, I worry that Sylas would have a really hard time dealing with three beefy frontliners. They really need someone that can get to the backline.
Yeah, maybe a Liandry's user, but still, Ezreal Karma, that's going to be a pretty, traditional lane as we do see the set being picked out. Set is pretty good to deny engages, right? If you see the Urgot or Maokai going in, Set can just use this ultimate to just put them right back where they started. So, Urgot to be kidding me. I believe they still have their mid pick. They know it's going to be, I think, the Set mid. So let's see what they respond with here.
I would love to see an Aurelion Soul here. My
Yeah.
only concern is that Aurelion Soul will get collapsed in lane by that set, if it is a set mid.
Well, in my opinion, oh, it's going to be the Gwen,
Ooh,
actually.
they're going crazy. This is I love and hate this comp all at the same time because they have so much melee, and if the Rumble ult is on target, they're just going to get destroyed during a team fight. But if they play the team fight well, don't group up, they can easily get on top of Eric. They can easily get on top of Rumble and make sure they go down fast.
Yeah, I actually really like the Gwen. If Queso is really good on this Gwen pick, he can actually nullify the true damage of Set's W by using the Gwen immunity and then moving to deny the Set damage. So I'm not too sure how versed he is in this matchup, but Gwen is actually a massive threat to the Set if the Gwen pilot knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this goes. Or gotta be kidding me, I believe has pulled out the Gwen mid before. They have, just check their history. Um, but this is just something that I'm not typically used to seeing. How often is it that we see something like a Gwen Rumble mid lane matchup or a set Gwen mid lane matchup? And do you think the set is top or the Rumble is top in this?
So based on my personal experience with Control+Alt+Defeat, I'm gonna say the Rumble is gonna be top and the Set is going to be mid. I think if you're Urgot, you would be willing to take any of these matchups. And if I were the Gwen, I would prefer the Set matchup because Gwen typically doesn't do well against the more ranged mages. And Gwen just got buffed as well. So I think if you are Queso, right, you would want the Set to go mid, and your aim is going to be just to scale.
Yep.
Scale, scale, scale. Make sure you're either even or ahead at all times against the Set, and once that late game team fight, for the Drake Soul or the Baron starts happening, all of a sudden you're gonna have this like level 16 Gwen. She's gonna be like 3.5, 4 items, and that's gonna be massive trouble for people like Trundle, people like Set and Rumble, who can very easily get hit by multiple iterations of Gwen's ultimate. So
Yeah,
I think, or gotta be kidding me, if they can execute this well, they've actually got a pretty decent team composition.
I completely agree. I think there's not really a good way for Control Alt Defeat to get to the backline and pick off Gangrel with Caitlyn. As long as their frontline can play the game smart, I think their team fights are going to be great. They can disengage very easily with the Maokai ult. You can zone and create space with the Gwen immunity field. And like you said, Gwen, she doesn't need to fight set. She can just chill there, play the snip snip game, invest in better scissors, and wait until 30 minutes. And at 30 minutes, she is going to be able to snip snip through pretty much everyone on that team except Trundle.
Now, and even so, I don't think Trundle is actually that good into Gwen because the stats Trundle would be stealing were not going to be Gwen's AD stats, right? He's probably going to want to look for Caitlyn or Urgot to ultimate. And again, Gwen isn't really bothered by the Trundle, right? Because Trundle tends to do well against attack damage duelists, stuff like, the Fiora, stuff like Darius, Set. That's what Trundle usually does well into. But when I see like, the Gwen, Zac, and Maokai, yeah, it's pretty good in a straight up 1v1, but Gwen is just going to blast through the Trundle really late in the game.
Yeah, I do think that this is almost a mismatch of what we initially talked about, where Control Alt Defeat typically just plays a really smart game and scales up and closes it out really easily. And
Hmm.
Gotta Be Kidding Me goes for some scrappier stuff. It almost seems like it's reversed. I'm expecting Control Alt Defeat to be going around and making plays. You've locked in a set mid. I want to see that guy roaming every 2 or 3 minutes and making plays.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at Control+Alt+Defeat's team composition, we actually talked about how they usually picked a lot of magic damage in their composition. And right now I'm looking and it's still like Rumble or Karma that's, the most significant damage dealers. I know Trundle has the magic damage on his ult, and Ezreal has some magic damage in his kit if he decides to build AP items, but it's actually, I think, looking like You're Gotta Be Kidding Me is the one with the more balanced damage share. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. The damage from Zac and Maokai will probably be about equal to the damage from Urgot overall. So that AP and AD balances out. Same with the Caitlyn and the Gwen. It's going to make it really hard for Trundle to itemize himself really well to be that single frontliner. Because at the end of the day, Set's going to be a bruiser. Trundle may also still build a bruiser. And if they get to late game and they don't have a true tank unless Trundle presses R, I don't know how they're getting through or gotta be kidding me's front line without an insane vision control to get those flank plays to get onto Gangarithith.
Yeah, interesting thing to note here. I think or gotta be kidding me is actually banned out four top laners and Ivern.
Nonsense. That's 4.5 top laners in my book.
Yeah.
But Ivern can do anything nowadays except be played in this game because he was banned out.
All right, so it's gonna be 3 minutes to game start, I believe. I would say if you're gonna be or gotta be kidding me, right? Regardless of the results of this game, do you think they're gonna be going to let Ezreal and Karma through in the next game? Because I think Ezreal's again Eric 29's signature pick. Even though we discussed that, hey, yeah, they have a good engage, they have like scaling options, but I'm always gonna be afraid of that X factor, which is Eric 29's Ezreal.
Yeah, so for Eric, the Ezreal is his pocket pick, like you mentioned, and their support Merlin, the Karma appears to be his most played champion alongside Melio. So they're very much on their comfort picks. As for Urgotta Be Kidding Me, their bot lane's also on those comfort picks. Caitlyn is one of the most played for Gangarifith, and Maokai is by far the most played for was it that Decker guy? Yeah. Most played by far. So I think no matter what happens in this game, how that bot lane plays out will drastically determine how draft changes. Because if one of these two bot lanes loses significantly in lane, their confidence has got to be shot. They're going to lose the lane on what is arguably their best picks.
Yeah, and absolutely. And not to even though Gengar Riffith and that Decker guy, they're on comfort picks, I don't necessarily think that this is an easy lane for them to play because Ezreal Karma is famed to be, one of the best poke heavy lanes, right? And if you're Maokai, poke is typically not what you would want to go up against. If you're Maokai, you have better poke than other, all-in laners, but in essence, you are still kind of going to be an all-in lane. So I think if you're going to be, or got to be kidding me, you're going to want Zach to come down bot lane again and again, and you pray to God that because Urgot is on his comfort pick, that top doesn't really need as much babysitting because, like you said, bot lane is what's pivotal to how these two teams conduct their mid game.
I think if I was Urgotta Be Kidding Me's jungler athlete, if I were in athlete's shoes, I think I would tell Gangarithith and Decker guy, it's like, guys, I need you to try to hold it down. You don't need to stomp lane. Just stay even with them. And your job as athlete, in my opinion, get mid lane ahead and get top lane ahead. Just if you can trust that your bot lane is going to keep it locked down, only play to your solo lanes. If Urgot gets ahead in this game, who's going to answer an Urgot split push? If Gwen gets ahead in this game, who's going to answer a Gwen split push? You know, have that 1-4 angle where Control+Alt+Defeat doesn't have a good way to answer it. So if you look at that, I think that's the way they're going to play it out. That was similar to how they played in our match, where as soon as the Big Doge got ahead in any of our games, they just made sure to put the pressure on top, and that dude was just split pushing all day, every day. And it worked. It created too much pressure for our team comp to be able to deal with. And I could see them accomplish that same thing here.
Right, maybe the Big Doge, if you're out there listening, you're going to be wanting to build a hull breaker and start, breaking down those turrets because, once again, people who say split push is dead, not really, especially when you have the Big Doge on the Urgot with the W, right? Being able to take down turrets really easily if they have a hull breaker. I think for Runesworth, it looks like Urgot has opted out of the Demolish rune. I think he's looking for more laning runes. I think he's taken either boots or the potions as we finally load into the game.
All right, here we are. We've got Control+Alt+Defeat on the blue side, Urgotta Be Kidding Me on the red side. Urgotta Be Kidding Me kit typically does a 5-point setup. They don't look for any cheesy level 1 invades. It looks like they're going for a similar setup right now.
Yeah, we see the pings come down. It is going to be let's see, more bot from Control+Alt+Defeat. I don't think they're gonna be setting up to invade, but that could be liable to change. As you see, Eric 29, they're actually invading on both sides of the map here. They see that sword go down. They managed to kill it, so good job to Urgotta Be Kidding Me.
I'm curious how much that vision is worth, because I don't think their Trundle was ever planning on starting that side, especially after having already shown in Bot River. Me personally, I think I would have saved that ward for a little later on, maybe get some prio in top lane, and then run down and place it. Because I think we just already know that the Trundle is going to be starting about half of the jungle, so you don't need that ward to get that knowledge.
Okay, so it looks like it's going to be a lane swap coming here. Actually, the big Doge is going to be setting up in the mid lane, and Queso is going to be up in the top lane. So I'm sure this has been discussed during the picks and bans, but let's see how this plays out. This has been the formation that they've gone through when they faced off against Diamond and TFT, and it seems to be the same looking here.
I'm curious because I almost feel like it doesn't matter how you switch the matchup. Love Eric's picture, by the way. W dude, as you can see. But for me, I feel like Gwen into Rumble is probably about the same as Gwen into Set. So I guess
this is a massive trade coming down on the mid lane. Zucchini's already taken very low. He's gonna have to flash out here. Big Doge shooting. It's gonna be one more. But it's actually not gonna happen. The ignite does come down. I don't think the Big Doge is gonna die to it. And yep, it's going to be a flash for flash. Big Doge will have the teleport to get himself safely out of trouble, but let's see if Pac-Man tries to punish as we see another trade going down in the mid lane, another trade going in the bot lane as well, but the first blood comes through, Haymaker hits, and as well as that Deck guy, he's already going to be fallen here. Gengar Riffith forced to flash out. Merlin actually managed to take down that Decker guy alongside Eric29.
So looking at how they played that, I think that was amazing from the Big Doge. I guess they chose to do the lane swap, possibly because he has more comfort into the Set matchup. But unfortunately, that Set shield at level 2 is just far too large for Urgotta to get over, especially once both champions have dropped their flashes. Yeah. As far as the bot lane goes, not surprised. Decker Guy and Gengarifif got their prio, hit level 2, went for the all-in, but when it didn't work, how's the Maokai supposed to walk out when there's 5 different projectiles coming at you every second?
Yeah, they really just didn't have enough damage for the all-in. The Caitlyn, she doesn't have lethal tempo, so she's not the best all-inner, especially in the early stages of the game. I think, you know, if I was the Big Doge, I would have just taken the TP instead of trying to contest harder, because that's usually the case as we see Bebo just taking down Queso with the flash forward. The Gwen used the ignite, but unable to find any purchase with that kill.
Yeah, I also agree about the teleporting back. Just knowing that you have teleport, they don't. You can come back, get at least a wave's worth of prio and advantage. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we see a gank maybe perhaps happening down here. Nope, it doesn't look like it. Big Doge already uses his dash to get out and into safety. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Gengariffic is starting to get taken pretty low. They have equal CS, but the poke from Karma Ezreal, it's massive. And if you're an all-in lane like Caitlyn and Maokai, once again, it's not necessarily the easiest lane to execute here.
I think this is really smart from both junglers. I think Control+Alt+Defeat has the read that there's going to be a gank bot lane soon, so they went and secured bot river vision, the Scuttle Crab. But Zach has the angles. He can come in from the Tri-Brush behind turret. It doesn't look like he's going for it though, even though the wave is pushed up the turret.
Yeah, we can also see Queso. He's actually headed towards the mid lane now. Maybe we can see if they can make something happen. Zucchini gets flipped by the Urgot. He doesn't have enough flash up. So let's see. The Haymaker comes down. That's not really going to be any more hope for Zucchini. The kill's been given out to Queso, and that's going to be the first kill for Urgotta Be Kidding Me on the board.
That was really, really, really well played. I'm not sure if you saw it while Queso was walking down the river there. They actually went into the blue side jungle and dashed over some walls to make sure that crab in the river did not spot them on that roam.
The rumble damage though, Queso's already going to be taking it down to half health. Bebo, he already has the flames, and Queso with the last dash, unable to go ahead and escape the rocket. Bebo with the solo kill once again.
Yeah, Bebo really playing that well, understanding how to energize, how to utilize your heat meter, getting the ease off with the last bit they had before overheating, ulting the push and shove the wave, knowing that Queso does not have the teleport to catch this wave.
Yep, this is really well played by Bebo here. The Rumble pick seems to be working out against the Gwen, who's unable to invulnerability any of the flames from the Flame Chompers. And now we see their potential dive to the bot lane. No, it looks like just more poke, and it's going to be a war of attrition for Control+Alt+Defeat down in the bot lane.
So Athlete should know at this point that the bot lane river crab is gone, which also means those wards that were down there is gone. I'm surprised he didn't come for a bot lane gank sooner. It looks like he's been thinking about it, so maybe Gangarifith and Decker are making the call for him not to come, because he's been hovering bot a lot, but he hasn't tried to pull the trigger on it yet. But he started Dragon as a fight breaks out.
Yep, it's going to be Cloud Drake as the first Drake here. The bot lane of Control+Alt+Defeat has opted for a recall. Let's see if Urgotta be kidding me, he's going to be able to secure this objective. The Maokai sapling has been thrown to get some early vision in case Pac-Man decides to come through, but he's on the opposite side of the map, so I think it's going to be an easy secure.
Yeah, and getting the early Drake, especially when they're behind, does a really good job of slowing down Control+Alt+Defeat cons. Obviously, we don't know what Dragon Soul is going to be, but there's no longer the possibility of oh man, Control+Alt+Defeat is going to get a 25-minute Dragon Soul. This makes it a lot safer for Urgotta be kidding me to give up those dragons in the future if they fall really far behind.
Alright, we see a gang coming up on the top lane. Pac-Man Monarch already using the pillar. Queso using the ult, but I think he's able to get away. Yep, they see the big dodge coming in, and it looks like it might actually be a re-engage here. I don't think that's going to be the case though, as both of them retreat, and it's going to be a lane swap potentially. The big doge is actually up in the top lane right now. Maybe they've decided that, hey, you know, the Gwen matchup into the Rumble isn't very effective, so we decided to shake things up with a lane swap.
In mid lane, it's a little unfortunate for Zucchini. I think he was trying to crash his wave into the tower, but it only now just crashed as the Gwen arrived. So the Gwen really did not miss out on that much CS, despite staying top for so long after the Big Doge showed up.
Yep, and now the wave top side is going to reset, so Big Doge is still going to be able to farm this out. I think the strongest member of Control+Alt+Defeat right now is definitely in Rumble. 2 solo kills, the boots already completed with the blasting wand. So the Big Doge is going to have to be very careful, especially because Rumble is going to be dashing forward, so already comes down. And the Big Doge is going to be burning and burning and burning. He's going to be taken down. He's going to be on a kill. Oh, there it is. The flash coming out from I Am Athlete is going to be Merlin sacrificed the Queso. The Ezreal ult doesn't find anyone, and the Gwen manages to get another kill with that play.
So because they just decided to commit 4 people down bot for that play, they get the 1-for-1 trade top to bot, but now Pac-Man is on the Herald grabbing that. And I think you mentioned it really well earlier. The Rumble is just a monster right now. And given how well Doge was doing in the mid lane, I don't think he was prepared for that damage output. When he dashed in onto the Rumble, I think that was just a death sentence. Especially, like, he flashed, he still could not get out. I'm not sure how he continues to lane against this Rumble besides sitting under tower currently.
Yeah, absolutely. We see now Queso, potential gank coming through, but not able to land the haymaker. The flip comes out with the Big Doge. Bebo that actually forced the flash out here. He doesn't have the ultimate just yet. And that's actually going to be a pretty good play. Meanwhile, mid lane, there's going to be the Gwen ult coming through. The haymaker comes down, and then the Ignite's already going to be here. The root comes in. That guy manages to maybe get it. No, Zucchini with the Triumph is actually able to get out while the Gwen isn't.
Yeah, and an incredible flash by Zucchini to get out there. That Decker guy was queuing him back into the fight. And just a well-timed flash after the snare.
You know, let's see if a dive actually comes out here. Bebo is actually so strong. Oh no! One tick! It's one tick and the shutdown comes through, but then mid lane Dagger guy tries to flash the haymaker, but the Ignite managed to get the kill. Merlin getting the Maokai. And yeah, what a turn of events actually.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this has been an exciting game. Both teams having players make plays on the edge. Bebo, I think, feeling himself a little too much. When you get 3-0, sometimes you get into those Yasuo moments. It's like, yo, I can 1v9 the game. Let's do this. And unfortunately, he forgot he was not playing Yasuo yet. So once he's got that, what is he starting with, the Rylai's? I think so.
I think it's either going to be a Rylai's or the Demonic Embrace, but meanwhile up in the top side, Big Doge actually finishes off the Black Cleaver. That's going to be a pretty big power spike for the Urgot. On that note, though, I think the Rumble really just lost the 1v1 against the turret and not against the Urgot.
Yeah, really the 1v1 against himself. But those are semantics. The turret at the end of the day is the one who picked up for the big Doge, and it really gives them a breath of life and probably gives them a lot of confidence that they can continue to contest in the top lane.
Right.
They just have to play it smart because they know they have that safety.
Now, 40 seconds left until the Ocean Drake spawns. Zucchini's taking a trade with Queso down in mid lane. Eric29 trading really heavily. He's forward into the turret range. Gengar Rippet manages to root him down. That's gonna be the gonna be the flash backup from the Kaylin. Ignite comes down. It's gonna be a double kill for the Maokai. Insanely well played by the bot lane. Never gotta be kidding me.
This is exactly what we talked about before stream started. Eric is insanely mechanically gifted, but he is no god. He is not Faker. He does make mistakes sometimes. Eing under turret and channeling your ultimate while taking 2 tower shots, that's just something that I'm glad Urgotta be kidding me was getting punished, because if Eric got away with that, that just would have been an absolute heist.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a fight down in mid lane as suppression comes in. Queso's going to be taken down with the Haymaker from Zucchini as well. However, I Am Athlete's gonna start the Drake here. That set doesn't have that much HP and no more cooldowns. Caitlyn ult does come through. Maokai Engage does as well. I Am Athlete here to follow up. The root comes in. One last Haymaker, and I think that's gonna be Zucchini taken down. Yep, shutdown coming through for Zach. But here comes Pac-Man Monarch and Merlin. And it's gonna be Pac-Man Monarch pulling through. The Zach is so tanky. He still has the passive. Here comes Eric as well. Another TP is used by the Rumble. He's gonna be in on the fight. Pac-Man Monarch's actually taking out the 1 HP. Able to get it. Queso's not able to save I Am Athlete even after TPing to the Zac blob. So I think this Drake is going to go the way of Control+Alt+Defeat.
Yeah, and honestly, that Drake going away with Control+Alt+Defeat is not the end of the world for Urgotta to be kidding me. Yes, they don't like they could start the soul stacking, but they are not forced to take the objectives. That was a really great fight. Really good pick. Zucchini probably should have backed before answering Dragon. But Urgotta be kidding me. I think Control+Alt+Defeat did not expect them to just start it so quickly. If you look on the minimap, Control+Alt+Defeat has lots of vision in the bot side blue jungle, in the bot side red jungle. Urgotta be kidding me didn't. They kind of just ran in a little blind and were like, we're gonna get that dragon. Show up or don't. So I don't think Control+Alt+Defeat was necessarily ready to answer them coming to that Drake so quickly, but because they had sufficient knowledge, that would explain why Zucchini decided to roam there from the setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Now with that Drake, the big Doge actually managed to cash in on 2 turret plates at the top, so like you said, it's not the end of the world. They're only 1.5k down here. They're gotta be kidding me. So once again, you're gonna have to somehow find a way to lengthen the game, make sure the Gwen is more relevant in the late game. It's gonna be, Zucchini underneath the turret, managed to get the plating. He's gonna be flash forward by the big Doge. The ult already comes in, but he might be, underestimating the damage here. Yeah, Zucchini responds with a Haymaker of his own, and it's gonna be pretty much an even trade, all things considered.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think that flash was pretty greedy. Maybe if he was way further under the tower, but just taking a tower shot or 2 for a flash, I don't think I'd call that a trade, but Athlete.
Yep, here comes Athlete. It's going to be locked up. Zucchini. It's going to be flipped. There's going to be no Urgot ult. The Haymaker is all that he has, as well as the Sun ultimate. He's going to be taking down the Smite, managed to steal the deal. I Am Athlete with the kill and a great gank.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the big Doge did not really come close to dying there. That's a really good indicator for what's to come, because the big Doge does need to be that one that's able to prevent.
I Am Athlete, though, is going to be ulted up by Debo, but he manages to get out of the way. Big Doge also managed to get out. They tried to do this dive, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it. It's a bit forced. However, the Herald is going to be spawning, and I think Control+Alt+Defeat will be able to claim that one instead.
Yeah, which explains why they went for this very ugly forced dive. Force them to reset, guarantee yourself the Herald. A lot better than starting the Herald and they coming back. Urgotta be kidding me, coming back toward the end of the Herald, being knocked down.
Right, and we see now Big Doge committing to teleport up top, so he's not going to be able to miss any minions. More poke lands onto Gengar. This is starting to get a little bit dicey here. He wants the Maokai and the Zac to come back. The Kaylin ult to deter the dive also comes in, but here comes Queso from the back of the team fight. He's going to be holding on Merlin. There's going to be massive damage coming out. When first ult comes through, but it's actually Merlin to get the takedown. This could be the flash forward. Gwen managed to get it with the ignite. The Maokai ult also gets used here, but Decker Guy Pac-Man, will they have enough damage here? The wombo combo does come in. Giga Rippin on the backline manages to get killing spree. It's gonna be Bebo, and Bebo gets taken down to Big Doge. Big Doge managed to land the ult. It's gonna be Giga Rippin and Eric29. It's gonna be a 1v2. Can the support get away? He does manage to put Eric29 into the trap, flashes away, and I think he's gonna be away. Oh my god, this is so risky. It's gonna be Eric29 and I Am Athlete. Let's see which one will win the fight. The smite comes down. Eric29 taking him down to less than 100 health. Manages to away. What a turn of events here for both teams. So many things happening on both sides of the map.
I thought we were playing on Simmer's Rip. Clearly, this was Howling Abyss, because that was non-stop team fighting.
All right. Now we see it in the Ghost situation. Well, before that, Queso's actually going to be taking down Zucchini. Zucchini forced to flash away. He managed to get a couple of rewards here for Control+Alt+Defeat. Control+Alt+Defeat currently 1.6k ahead in the gold department. The two mid turrets are actually their consolation prize for the fights that went on just a minute ago. And in 55 seconds, that's going to be the next Drake spawning for both teams. Let's see which team can more easily contest these Drakes. We see the Big Doge coming up top lane, but he just has the TP, so I'm a little bit worried for Urgotta be kidding me.
I think right now, Urgotta be kidding me, has got to focus on their vision control. If you look, it looks like they only have 3 wards throughout the map. One's in their jungle, one's in top river, one's by bot river. So they're able to see the objectives, but they're not able to see how the enemy team is moving leading up to the objective. If you look around Dragon right now, I think there are 4 or 5 blue wards around the Dragon Pit, just so that Control+Defeat can make sure they're walking the way they need to be walking.
Alright, Pac-Man Monarch on the top side. Big Doge doesn't have flash. He manages to dash away though. That's going to be 2 ults already invested to try to take down this Urgot. Let's see if he's able to defend this turret. Nope, it's going to be the Herald being used. If I was the Big Doge, I would be getting the heck out of Doge right now, but it's going to be a flip into the turret. Pac-Man Monarch takes it low, but it's going to crash, and oh, the suppression comes! Big Doge with massive clutch ultimate onto the Rumble here. He's done it twice already. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Hextech straight goes by the way as Urgotta Unity in 5 pursuit. Here comes back. Queso's also in the ult. It's going to be massive sniff. Merlin taking down low, but so is Queso. Zucchini gets the first kill. See how many other kills we can get. Eric29 in the thick of the fight, but he gets taken down by that Decker guy. Let's see. Zucchini and Merlin, 2v3. Let's see who manages to get this kill. Merlin taken down to less than 100 kills. The mantra managed to let him get away. Oh my god, Zucchini doing so much damage here. That Decker guy goes unstoppable though. But here comes Pac-Man Monarch. Ooh, still be in the fight, but that Decker guy says heck no. And now they managed to recover more kills. Still,
but here's that split push we were talking about. Even during all that fighting, the Big Doge, an incredible play, even after losing his tower, picking up that 1 kill, and then having the presence to still be able to continue that split push and pick up a tower and a half for himself. On the bot side of the map, it was a 4v3 with 4 for Urgotta be kidding me. We did not get to see how that fight started. We did not get to see the dance around Dragon. But what we do know is that those teams are fighting, and Eric was picked off despite only being down 1 person and having a built-in flash into his kit. So it shows that there's a lot of weakness in a straight-up 5v5 team for Control+Defeat into Urgotta be kidding me.
Let's see if Queso managed to get this. Yes, he does. Merlin is going to be ulted by the Caitlyn here. Gold situation for the team. Oh, actually, Bebo actually just ults in. Queso will not get hit by Karma's root. It's actually going to be just, the Rumble ult used here to clear the mid lane, but still, you're going to be kidding me. They're going to be happy taking down that mid lane turret. It's actually looking pretty even for both teams here. Still, Control+Alt+Defeat does have the gold lead at 2.4k. See that my math is right.
It's about 2.8k. But Baron spawning, when we started this game, if you told me this was a 13-1 team against a 6-8 team, you wouldn't believe it right now. This game is pretty much even. A 3k gold lead at 20 minutes. That's pretty standard.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we see Control+Alt+Defeat. They're going to be forming up close to the Baron here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Gamer Rick is actually still in the bot side. On the mid lane though, Eric29 is actually going to be clearing out that wave. They're going to be trying to fight the Baron here. As you see, that Decker guy walking up, is going to be taken down pretty low. Eric29 is trying to hit that Decker guy though. And I know the Maokai's tanky, but okay, let's see. The Baron manages to recover a little bit amount of health. 6k left. Let's see if an athlete goes for the steal. The Baron's been hitting.
They're not going to flip it. There's no way.
Yep, it's not going to be a hamburger flip time. Instead, Control+Alt+Defeat decides to take the recall. If Control+Alt+Defeat got that Baron, it's going to be really dicey for her. Gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I think Urgotta Be Kidding Me played that really well. They didn't see anyone on the map, and even though they did not have vision of the Baron pit, they made the assumptions like, guys, they either reset or they're all at Baron. We gotta rush Baron and hope they reset instead. But honestly, I think that was the best case scenario for Urgotta Be Kidding Me outside of blowing them out completely. They showed up to the Baron pit, they got him off of it, they bought themselves time. We've already seen that the Maokai ult can completely negate one of their engages. They can use that over and over and over, pick their fights, use the Caitlyn the poke, and let that Gwen skill.
And now we see in the top lane, Big Doge trading once again with Bebo. He actually opted into Morty's here, so Pac-Man Monarch manages to get to control ward, but really good vision control here by the Big Doge. He actually contests the wave, but rather than do anything else, you know, he positions himself a little bit more backwards so that Pac-Man is unable to gank, but this might be another Baron attempt here by Control+Alt+Defeat. Bringing down some vision.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go for a Baron attempt, but maybe if they see Athlete in the bot side at any point, they'll just pull the trigger and go for it. Because remember, their set does not have teleport, while Queso's Gwen does. So if they start up the Baron while set his bot lane, there's no way for him to join the fight, whereas Gwen still can.
Meanwhile, 42 seconds left until the next Hex Tech Drake spawns. Big Doge is going to have to teleport, but so is Rumble. It looks like the set has opted to build the Heartsteel into Thornmail, so he is opting for a full tank build here. So King or Riffith ain't going to be able to take down this set very easily.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point mentioning that, because the Trundle is going for that Bruiser build. They just started with the Divine Sunder, they didn't go for something tankier, so the set really had to fill in that little front line. And despite...
Is this going to be a Urgotta Be Kidding Me Baron? They're actually still on it right now. The only one, you know, who's able to get around vision for Control+Defeat is going to be Eric. It's going to be already on 7k health.
That was a great rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. The ult is going to come through. King Ripple is going to be taken low. Everyone's going to be rooted though. Oh my god, that's a massive Rumble ultimate. Blue team is stolen Baron. Oh my god, it's going to be Eric who stole it. I'm Athlete is just in the fight, and so is that Decker guy, but I don't think there's going to be much left here for Urgotta Be Kidding Me. Their health bars are getting massively low. And in the meantime, there's going to be a shutdown for the Gwen, but that's it. Pac-Man Monarch is actually going to be able to 1v1. The flash still does not come through. I am Athlete trying to get out, but it's going to be a double kill for Eric29. It's going to be 4 members of Urgotta Be Kidding Me dead, as well as the Baron lost to Control+Alt+Defeat.
Oh no, Control+Alt+Defeat with an incredible play, just running in, throwing the Rumble ult onto the Baron, making that health bar do some crazy number changes. It must have caused Athlete to panic a little bit. Let me tell you, I'm a gold jungler. I would have panicked a lot.
Absolutely. And it's c'est la vie. You know, sometimes you just lose the Baron and it might just cost you the whole game. King on Rift has already taken very low. Now, there are going to be members of Urgotta Be Kidding Me up here. It's probably just going to be the turret, not even the inhibitor. But let's see if Control+Alt+Defeat can...
Oh, they're going for a teleport flank.
Absolutely.
Queso's coming in from behind.
Let's see what Urgotta Be Kidding Me can do here. Queso...
They don't see him. Oh, they see him now.
They see him, but it's going to be Eric29 taking down. Ooh, that Urgot is so low. Oh, he manages to only hit the E, but not the Q. The Ezra also comes down. Griffith already taken down to half health with the ultimate. And I'm very nervous now for Urgot Be Kidding Me. They're going to have to see this strategy as well.
Yeah, this game in the span of 5 minutes went from about a 3k gold lead to a 5k gold lead. 5.5k to be precise. And Urgotta Be Kidding Me has not backed yet. Eric has not backed yet. He's got to be sitting on a lot of gold. I'm not sure what item he's going to go for next, just because I don't play Ezreal. And he's going to be able to get at least half of it, if not a full buy.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be opting into one of the last Whisper items. Very impressive, the fact that he managed to buy... Ooh, it's actually going to be Cyrilda's Grudge. So he has both components of Swirl's Grudge complete, just not the full item here. And yeah, this Ezreal is going to start to really hurt. Considering the fact that Queso only has one item, he hasn't finished his Riftmaker yet. So yep, the finance situation for Urgotta Be Kidding Me is not looking too good.
So let's talk about how Urgotta Be Kidding Me. I think they need to slow it down a lot. If it gets to a point where they're just stuck in their base, they can do a really good job of wave clearing. They've got Urgotta can wave clear. Even Malphite with his Q can do a decent amount of wave clearing. All their champions are able to wave clear. They're able to not let Urgotta Be. They're not able to not let Control+Alt+Defeat engage the fight.
Horrific manages to steal away his own red. I am actually going to be trapped by Pac-Man Monarch. Maybe another fight here in the top lane. The Rumble ult already used. Eric29 taking a turret shot is actually going to be a little bit low. Let's see if they're going to be able to defend this turret. Sonya's actually being used by Bebo. And he's taking very low. The flash forward comes. Where's Ezreal? Ezreal surprised. He's dead. The three members are going to be fleeing. Big Doge coming up with huge plays. I'm actually on the flank. Merlin managed to get the takedown. Jimmy has a lot of work that he's able to do here. The Haymaker's going to hurt everyone, you know, all in one location. But it's such a tanky set going into the back line. Got Queso. But the kills are now starting to come through. I Am Athlete and Gigarith taking solo, but Bebo and Pac-Man Monarch, he is full health, and it's only going to be the jungler of Urgotta Be Kidding Me left alive after this fight.
I personally think after that fight, this game might be over. Ezreal was deleted at the beginning of the fight. There was no Rumble. Control+Alt+Defeat was still able to win the 4v5. At this point, you just got to play as safe as possible. And I don't mean just never try to win the game, but we've got to wait for that Gwen's third item. Right now, they're just on, what is that, Nashor's Tooth and a Riftmaker. I think we need to see, I don't think they're going to have time to get a third item unless they're sitting on a ton of gold, which they don't appear to be since they just spawned.
Yeah, and at least the only good news for Urgotta Be Kidding Me is like they only have one inhibitor taken down, and it is the mid lane inhibitor, the easiest one to wave clear from. But with major objectives spawning in 1 minute 30 seconds and 2 minutes respectively, that's gonna be really tough for Urgotta Be Kidding Me to contest. They're gonna have to use their teleports really wisely, you know, make sure the big Doge in Queso is wave clearing properly, and then when the big fight happens, manages to either win the fight or get the objective.
Yeah, and I don't think Urgotta Be Kidding Me is going to be able to get the same fortune they had earlier with the Baron setup. Control+Alt+Defeat knows that Urgotta Be Kidding Me does not care about that dragon. Yes, they obviously want it, but they can't afford to come get it. Urgotta Be Kidding Me is going to be focused on that Baron. The Rumble, the Bogey, has his teleport. He can just split push bot, let his team do the Baron dance. Super minions will push it mid. He'll be pushing bot lane. Eventually, Urgotta Be Kidding Me has to break their formation and answer. Urgotta Be Kidding Me wants those 5v5 team fights or the 1-4 split like they're trying right now.
Ooh, that's gonna be the Rumble ult already used to wave clear, and now Bebo is able to ensure that Urgot doesn't find any more purchase in this lane. It's gonna be a very interesting 1v1. In the meantime, Control+Defeat wants this bot lane turret on the other side of the map. Caitlyn ult manages to come in and hit Eric29, and Queso's still hitting the turret. I mean, the minions.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I had a visual glitch there.
This is going to be a solo kill here. It's going to be Big Doge against Bebo. Meanwhile, the other side of the map, Pac-Man Mara is actually going to be rooted. It's going to be a shutdown for the Gwen. It's going to be pretty massive. Merlin gets snip-snipped by the Gwen here. I think he's going to be sacrificed. And yep, Gigarith manages to get the kill. Meanwhile, Bebo taken down to half health. Urgot doesn't have the ult anymore, but Rumble will soon have it up. Now the Big Doge, he's able to have a TP if he really feels like it. Drake's gonna be up in 20 seconds, and in 20 seconds, Pac-Man is gonna be up, but in the mid lane, there's gonna be a flash coming through by Zucchini. Queso's actually really suppressed. He's gonna try his best to get out of the fight, but once again, the heal cut from that Thormail is definitely helping here. Meanwhile, Gengar Riffith and Decker Guy, they're managing to try to stop the set.
Oh, he still got through the portal anyway. And that was really well done by Zucchini, that whole push mid, knowing that his jungler was down for 35 seconds. How can I make sure you don't come take that Baron, pressure the base? Urgotta Be Kidding Me, at the end of the day, wasn't able to get any neutral objectives off of that win in the bot lane.
Yep, and let's see if they're able to contest this Drake. Now, I am athlete and that Decker guy is going to be in the Drake pit. It's going to be 11 pig health in the dragon. Doesn't look like there's going to be a chance of a contest here, and I think if you're gotta be kidding me, you're okay with giving this out because this is not the source.
Yeah, you don't need this dragon. You would rather have 5 more minutes instead of possibly ending your whole game here. Looks like the Gwen might be going for a Banshees?
Maybe.
Does Gwen build Spirit Visage? See,
I don't really think so, but it looks like this is going to be the item of choice for the Gwen. I don't think that item actually builds into anything else besides Spirit Visage. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it might build into Banshees.
It has a health component, and Banshees doesn't give health.
You're right, you're right. Huh.
Ooh, King Arissa getting taken out by Merlin. It's going to be a fight for the Raptors that is meant to win by I'm Athlete, the big doge having to get out. Wow, Eric.
Oh no, Eric jumping in.
Much damage. Somebody tank for this man. It's actually going to be a solo kill. Meanwhile, though, Eric 29 is going to be locked up. It's going to be Pac-Man Monarch already slain, but the ult is massive. It is a pretty decent escape, maybe. Devo flashes forward with the Zanyas manages to get the kill onto the Ezreal, but it's only going to be Queso against 2. Wow, the burn. So let's see if he can get onto Merlin or this is so close.
But look at Zucchini in the mid lane. He's ending the game as the skirmish is continuing.
Yeah,
that whole fight was a 4v5 from Control+Alt+Defeat.
Yeah, they definitely want this. It's going to be, Zucchini taking out the Gwen. It's going to be 1v1. I am Athlete against Zucchini. He's already hitting the Nexus, and I think it's going to be the end of the first game. Control+Alt+Defeat winning game number 1.
That was a really impressive showing. Even at the end of the game, it was very dominant from Control+Alt+Defeat. The gold lead didn't really express that. At 20 minutes, Control+Alt+Defeat had a 3k gold lead, and every couple of minutes, they increased it by another K, another K, another K. It was never, or gotta be kidding me, is completely out of the game, which gives me a lot of hope going into game 2 and a possible game 3.
Yeah, and especially since Urgotta be kidding me in this next game, they're gonna be they have side selection, so they can maybe affect the draft a little bit better. But if I were Urgotta be kidding me, it's actually not a bad start to the series. I think there's obviously refinements that they could make, but once again, all you got to do is play that a little bit better, and I have hope that they can actually turn this series into a game 3.
Yeah, and if you look at the damage charts, Bobobe absolutely topped everything. His Rumble completely popped off. And you have to talk about it. They banned out 4 top lane picks, and they still could not lock this man down.
Yeah,
How do you think they're going to change the draft moving into game 2, knowing that?
I think if I were Urgotta be kidding me, we have to start talking about banning out the Rumble, potentially banning out the Ezreal. But I think, if I were them, I'll just say, like, hey, just ban out 3 of the champions they play this game to force them to go on different champions. Maybe hope that this unfamiliarity, right? Because let's be honest, this is a composition that Control+Alt+Defeat is pretty used to. So I think by banning out 3 champions that they've, played time and time again, or gotta be kidding me, we'll have better luck going into this game too.
So
I'm good.
yeah, I'm good as well. So one of the things I'm interested in is seeing what happens if they do ban the Ezreal. I would personally love to see Kog'Maw Zilean bot lane. I think it's vastly underrated, and Eric and Merlin have played it before.
Kog'Maw Milio.
But that's so overrated. Zilean support. That's where all the fun stuff happens. That means when Eric makes that small mistake, like he did a couple times that game, Merlin can bail him out. He spawns, he E's out, he flashes out, and he's back in the fight full health.
Yeah, and at the same time though, they don't have Nishama as their support. If I had Nishama as my support, I'd absolutely say, yeah, Zilean, absolutely. The Zilean pick I do like, but again, I think for Control+Alt+Defeat, they managed to get their pocket picks this game, at least 2 of them, and they need to be able to turn it into a bigger victory. I think the biggest thing they can improve on is obviously their early game. If they didn't have as many solo kills given to the Rumble, given to the set as they did in the early game, they would fare much better in the mid game.
Yeah. One thing I would personally like to see from Urgotta Be Kidding Me is locking in their ADC pick earlier. Because they saved their ADC pick for 4-5, Kaisa got banned, and that is by far seems to be Gangrowth's best champion right now. Kaisa is just kind of busted overall, seeing tons of pro play all throughout the world, and provides the opportunity to build in a couple different pathways with that hybrid damage.
Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier as well. What if Ezreal is banned out? What would what would Eric 29 go towards? And I think that answer is going to be Ziggs because we've seen Ezreal banned out previously in the games, and he really seems to favor the Ziggs as well. And if I were Eric 29, I would have no issue going with the Ziggs, provided that the top side of the map and the mid gets their 80 picks. You know, the Trundle, the Volibear, maybe even like Nefiri in the mid lane or the set. So I think as long as Control+Alt+Defeat can have a balanced team composition, the Ziggs really isn't going to be a problem for the team as a whole.
Yeah, I think Ziggs really goes well with Control+Alt+Defeat's game plan, where he allows Eric to really take control of the game and call how he wants the fights to happen. My only concern is that Ziggs is a champion that's really easy to pick off, and Urgotta Be Kidding Me has already shown that they're ready to pounce on Eric the second he makes a mistake. So with the Ziggs, he would have a lot less forgiveness than he previously did.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, if you're Control+Alt+Defeat, would you be, wanting to ban out the Urgot stuff that really were able to pick out the Ezreal this game? Would you be willing to ban out the Urgot and the Maokai, or do you think they're gonna stick to the same, Senna, Lux, those types of bans?
I think they'll ban out the Urgot instead of the Lilia. Athlete has played a ton of Lilia games, but when you look at the team comp that Urgotta Be Kidding Me brought forward, if Athlete was on Lilia in that game, I don't think they're able to play the game the way they want to play it. I don't think Lilia is as strong as, say, an engaged support, an engaged jungler like a Mumu or Zac, when you've got a really strong carry mid, when you've got a really strong carry ADC.
Yeah, and I think on the subject of carry mids, the lane swap happening between Queso and the Big Doge didn't really turn out the way they wanted to in the early game. I think they wanted to, have the Gwen top so that they have more time to scale, more time to, be left alone without any risk of jungle ganks. But I think the issue with that is, once again, the Rumble is a worse matchup for the Gwen than the Urgot matchup is. So I think if they're fortunate enough to get the same picks, or gotta be kidding me, they should put that Gwen mid, or they should put the Gwen not against the Rumble if they don't decide to ban it out.
Yeah, I also felt pretty questionable about that lane swap. Maybe it was just comfort for uh, Queso and Big Doge, but regardless of how they went through it, regardless of how they thought about it, I think overall, Urgotta Be Kidding Me did a really good job. Again, this was a team that was 6-8 going up against a team that's 13-1. That game looked competitive all the way through. Even in that last team fight, had it not been for Zucchini seeing, oh, this fight's going 50-50, let me just sneak on through mid lane and call it a day, that game could still be going right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing to note was, had or gotta be kidding me not made the Baron call or not lost the Baron, it could have been, either way, it could have been either team with the lead here, because I think that was the pivotal moment for Control+Alt+Defeat. Eric 29 with that amazing Baron steal. And again, had that not happened, I don't think we'd be, in this current situation right now, Svi.
Yeah, I think overall, it was very, very, very fortunate that Control+Defeat was able to get that Baron. Or Gotta Be Kidding Me read the map really well. They knew they were going to Dragon, and they said, you know what? Screw Dragon. Let's just rush Baron. Hope they can't get there in time. Honestly, it could have gone either way. That could have been anyone's Baron. And had or Gotta Be Kidding Me locked down that Baron, I think their route to winning the game was very clear. Use the Baron, push out Leaves, get turrets, get a lot of advantage. That would have bought them at least 5 more minutes that they needed.
Yeah, and I think if I was also or gotta be kidding me, we would either consider banning out the set or either, have some way to uh either meet or beat the set 1v1 to disallow the split push because the Big Doge had some success split pushing in that game, but absolutely, Zucchini with the set managing to take down the inhibs and then the Nexus turrets and then the Nexus just through split pushing. That's a huge asset for Control Alt Defeat that are gotta be kidding me has to nullify for game two. Otherwise, it just could be another repeat and another backdoor attempt from the set. He didn't even have Hullbreaker, so you can imagine if this champion had Hullbreaker, stuff like maybe Trinity Force, that would have been so much worse for or gotta be kidding me.
All right, looks like we're heading to draft for game two.
All right, so or gotta be kidding me is actually going to opt into red side once again. Control Alt Defeat. Let's see if they have the same ban patterns here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what changes, especially since Urgotta be kidding me elected to stay red side.
Wow, it's actually going to be looking like the same pick ban once again. It's going to be Senna Lux banned out. It's going to be the Jax and the Aatrox for gotta be kidding me. It's going to be the
Interesting.
Victor. Yeah, they've left up the
Interesting.
Lilia and the Urgot.
I think Control Alt Defeat wants them to bring in the Lilia. I think they're not as scared of the Lilia because it doesn't enable that strong engage.
Right, but I think if you're gotta be kidding me, you should be asking questions. Maybe the set there exactly. The Rumble is the one they opt into ban out. So good on her, gotta be kidding me. Let's see what Bebo opts into for their top lane pick. Now, Control Alt Defeat's going to have the first pick. It's actually going to be the Zac or
Ooh.
Pac-Man Monarch. They're actually going to take the Zac, and are got to be kidding me.
They're
They're
probably
going to
going to
be able to
respond
take
with
the
the
Lilia.
Amumu.
It's maybe a
It's like
Mumu,
I
but
don't think they're going to take the Lilia. It just doesn't fit into their playstyle well. But they're also backs against the wall. This is tournament elimination, season elimination on the line right now. Pulling out the pocket pick, there it is, the Lilia. I'm curious to see
instant.
how this changes. Or gotta be kidding me's comp because
Do
this is
you
not what
hear?
we're typically used to.
Do you hear me? I am athlete. This is gonna be your game. This is the one time you get your absolute best champion. You better make sure you use it to the absolute fullest potential. Now, or gotta be kidding me. He's actually gonna opt into the Caitlyn pick early on,
With the
but
Kaisa up too.
yeah, exactly. With Kaisa, other stuff like Ash is up as well. I'm actually curious why they didn't, opt into the Urgot Maokai earlier. Maybe they're trying to change their bot lane strategy a little bit. Maybe go with a more poke heavy lane instead of an all in lane.
Yeah, this is really. Oh, you called it with the Ziggs. That could still potentially be a Ziggs mid, but that's more than likely Eric can be Ziggs playing in the bot lane, which means they're probably looking for an AD mid laner here. Uh, what are
Yeah,
your thoughts for AD
absolutely.
mid lanes?
If I was Urgotta Kinemi and an AD mid lane was not picked here, I would instantly ban the set. I would instantly ban stuff like Nefiri. Yeah, they actually opted into
Bazillion.
Billion. Please, Urgotta be kidding me. They just drafted 3 magic damage champions. Please ban out some AD picks. I think if I was Urgotta be kidding me, I look at Zigzillion. Yeah, I would honestly just pick Urgot right now because you know that the Rumble is gonna be out. So I think you just pick Urgot, ban set, ban yeah, just ban
Yone?
set, ban Yone maybe, but I don't actually fear the Yone as much. It's actually gonna be
Ornn.
an Ornn? I'm not too sure about that pick from or gotta be kidding me
I
because
think a big part might be that with athlete no longer on a engaged tank, I think at the end of the day, Big
wow,
Doge has probably got to take that role.
Fiora ban is going to come, and I do like the Fiora because Fiora does well into Ornn, and I think Bebo does play Fiora, but I'm actually really worried about the set here because the Ornn, if the set just like ults the Ornn into the back of the team fight, that's
Oh
gonna be
man,
really, really painful for
it's
gotta
gonna
be
be
kidding me.
massive.
So I'm imploring them to ban sets. But right now it looks like Control of Defeat is going to be getting on Maokai. They're actually going to ban out Ezreal? They think the
So they
Ziggs is
think the
going
six is
mid?
mid.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't think
I
they
don't
have
know
the
about
read.
that.
I
I don't
don't.
know about
I
that.
don't think Zucchini has played any Ziggs this season.
Yeah, me neither. And Maokai, I think if you're Control Alt Defeat, you may want to ban Urgot out here just to make sure, or maybe the Gwen because just that's Queso's comfort.
Yeah, I think the
No,
Gwen.
it's gonna be Morgana.
Morgana.
Okay.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense, given that they're going for a more poke style comp. Caitlyn Morgana is a really oppressive lane, especially if you land that CC on the Zillion or the Ziggs. They don't have a good way to get out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I was or gotta be kidding me, I'd be like looking at mage supports right now, even heavy poke mage supports. I'd be looking at stuff like Vel'Koz. You know, if Gengar
Think
Rift, ooh, Soraka is actually gonna be picked, and I like Soraka.
interesting.
I do like Soraka because Soraka manages to keep Lilia and Caitlyn's DPS up. I think in an all-in, you know, when the Zac, you know, comes right into the team, that Soraka ult's going to be able to take a lot of pressure off, especially with the Zig bombs. It's actually
Zucchini
going
has
to
a
be
Pantheon in his
Pantheon
pool.
mid.
He does have the Pantheon in his pool. He has played it before this season in Coach Rivals, although I believe it was only once. Um,
So
I'm
yeah,
really curious how Queso is going to respond to this, given that the remainder of Queso's pool right now is typically champions like your Aurelion Sol or your Oriana.
Pantheon Camille. So Camille did just get a buff to their ultimate, but honestly, if I see this comp Pantheon Camille, I'd be looking at stuff like Darius. I would love
Darius
Darius to
mid.
get top. But if it's for mid lane, uh, against the
They might go
Pantheon,
with the Gwen again.
yeah, I do see that happening. Not too much of a fan of the Gwen here, but it just might be comfort. Ooh, it's a
Ooh,
Malzahar.
that's a smart choice.
Yeah, very smart choice. I just hope that they manage to use this pick well because I think Malzahar is a good pick, but you must not ult the Zac, right? I think if they're actually really smart, if Zillion oversteps his boundaries a little bit, they'll use the Malzahar ult onto the Zillion, delete him. That basically takes 2 lives away from Control+Alt+Defeat.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think, yep, Malzahar can nullify a lot of Pantheon engage, and it's also a plus that Malzahar is a Liandry's user, so Pantheon isn't going to be able to nullify the auto attacks, and the fact that Malzahar is really good wave clear. So I think that's going to help for pressure.
We've seen Urgotta be kidding me's Queso's Malzahar on stream even before. I believe it was week 7. He plays it immaculately. He's patient. He saves his ults. I think what's going to end up happening in team fights, he's going to wait for the Zillion to ult before using the Malzahar ult, because otherwise, whoever you Malzahar ult is going to get Zillion ulted, and it's just a trade of ults, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're or gotta be kidding me, you have to make sure that the Ornn doesn't die to the Camille in the lane phase, because that is how the game gets blown wide open. Is if Camille gets ahead, you know, 2 kills before 10, that type of stuff. That's when you start, you know, seeing the Cho'Gath ultimates coming in at level 11 from the Camille. So that is something I'm definitely worried about. If I'm or gotta be kidding me, but I actually haven't seen Bebo play Camille out recently. I think the champion just got buffed, and I think he managed to practice on it 1 game. And even so, I think if the Ornn manages to play this lane out effectively, safely, getting farm with the Q, that's going to be well for, or gotta be kidding me, coming into the mid lane. But if they don't execute properly, then it's going to be Control+Alt+Defeat's game to lose.
Yeah, and I think this is a lot closer to Control+Alt+Defeat's normal comp, where they've got a really strong mid laner, a really strong top laner, and just scaling in the bot lane. I would expect to see Pac-Man pretty much just ganking the solos left and right, going for 2-man ganks either top lane or bot lane, with the Pantheon having the ability to ult in, and the Zac having his flying in from forever far away. All right, folks, we're going to head to a short 3-minute break while we wait for the spectator client to catch up to the game. See you in a couple minutes.
All right, and now we're in the loading screen. This is it for Gotta Be Kidding Me. Backs against the wall, one game to either lose or go into game 3.
Yep, and again, like you mentioned, Urgotta be kidding me, putting everything on the line here, even going as far as whipping out the Lilia, which doesn't really go with the comps they've typically done. That Decker guy is usually on Senna or an engaged support. Athlete's usually on an engaged jungler. The Big Doge just kind of doing whatever when he does get Urgot. I'm really curious to see how they play out the game here. It looks like Control+Alt+Defeat is stacking all 5 people toward the bot lane, probably looking for that early pick, given that they have a Pantheon and a Zac.
Yeah, pings are out for Eric 29's teleport. It's actually going to be an invade here by Control+Alt+Defeat. 5 men on the bot side of the map. Bebo manages to get the ward. Caitlyn forced to go out. So let's see if they decide to start this buff. They already have vision down. And, ooh, on the opposite side of the map, though, Ornn has taken the enemy's blue buff and put a red ward. So they might be starting out at that side of the map. So
yeah. Oh, that ward that they're all walking over right now is huge for Urgotta be kidding me. Because Control+Alt+Defeat wrapped around the bottom side and headed up the river, they weren't able to gain vision on there earlier. So Urgotta be kidding me knows that they've all left and that they're safe. And then the ward that you just mentioned that the Big Doge placed is going to show that they are checking for that invade. I think Urgotta be kidding me knows that even with that ward there, they're safe to start blue if they wanted to.
yeah, it's going to be actually a pretty safe start here by Control+Alt+Defeat. He's just going to do it normally, bottom start. In the meantime, I Am Athlete's actually going to start on the Raptors, I believe. And that's going to be a Lilia's only strat. Not many junglers are able to do it besides, you know, Lilia, Kayn, and junglers of that sort. So this is a very interesting situation here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it plays out. Do you think Athlete might go for a really early gank, either top or mid, given that top is currently pushing in and mid is currently pushing in?
So I think if I were Athlete, knowing that we have the ward on the enemy's blue buff, I might actually say that this is it. I'm going to put the game on the line here and invade the enemy's blue buff, because I think Athlete might be able to win against Pac-Man Monarch early, even though the Zac will have the life to negate the all-in. But now we have a heavy trade. That Decker guy taking a lot of damage here from Eric 29 and Merlin.
Yeah, unfortunately, Athlete not going for that big gamble. I think you're right that they could have done it. Zac has a pretty slow early clear. He's just only now gotten onto his wolves, and Lilia, even with the pathing from chickens to red to Krugs, is ahead of him in terms of clearing out camps. So is Athlete electing to skip? Oh no, he was finishing the wolves. So Athlete's now on his blue, Zac is now on his blue. They're on complete opposite sides of the map.
Very aggressive engage here by Zucchini. Queso taken down so low, the flash is already going to be out, but Queso will have that TP to salvage his lane state. Ooh, Vivo manages to not connect the sweeping, no idea what that move is called, but the sweeping thing. And that Decker guy actually manages to hit Merlin in the bottom side of the lane. What I like from Urgotta be kidding me is this is going to be a lot more like natural state where it's, you know, no gold advantage to either team. Ooh, really good trade there, both by the Camille and the Horn.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point that it's just a very neutral game state, and it probably will stay neutral. Caitlyn, Soraka aren't very oppressive pre-6. Zig, Zillion aren't very oppressive pre-6. I think the only things to look at are like the Big Doge. He's been trading, but now he's out of mana. It's like, it's a good thing he has the teleport to get back to lane when he needs to, but the wave is kind of frozen, and Lilia is not quite there to cover and help with the gank. Even if she did come in with gank, does Big Doge have enough mana to even assist? Zac is hovering mid, looking for the opportunity. He's going in. Zac jumping down. That was hard.
Yep, Queso's getting stunned up, rooted. He doesn't have the flash, remember, from an earlier game. This is going to be really well executed here. First blood going to Zucchini.
And that's huge for Control+Alt+Defeat, given that Pantheon is one of those champions that wants to pop off early game, pop off one item, get 6 and start roaming everywhere. If he can get strong and take that lead,
Yep, ooh, the stun does come out from Merlin here. That Decker guy's already taken very low. They have the heal. The exhaust comes through. That Decker guy's so low. The root from the Caitlyn is massive. Eric29 with the flash forward's not able to get it. And once again, it's going to be Caitlyn with the bomb on her. It's going to be a follow-up bomb. Oh, dude, that's going to be so low. Gingarifit probably would not be able to stay in this lane, especially since Pac-Man Monarch is sniffing out the bot lane.
Yeah, this has been a pretty strong showing, especially given that an early Ziggs is doing well trading into the Caitlyn that has a Soraka health bar behind it.
Yep, meanwhile on the top side, Big Doge is actually pretty healthy here. Ooh,
but he has no mana. He doesn't have tools to get out with. He has his flash.
He's level 6. Well,
but does he have the mana to cast it?
Alright, he doesn't have the mana to cast it, but this is so tight because when Bebo
is about to hit as well. Like,
oh yeah. Another game comes through the mid lane. Queso is like, what the heck? The jungler's in my lane all the time, but really good punish here by Control+Alt+Defeat, making sure the flashless Malzahar gets killed over and over again.
Yeah, Malzahar has no tools to get out once he has flash. Zac can gank from a mile away. Pantheon has good setup for ganks and good follow-ups for ganks. Not even gonna lie, I expect another gank within the next minute and a half before Malzahar's flashes back up. And not to tilt Malzahar, but because it's just the right thing to do. Your Pantheon can be a win con if you just snowball early.
Yeah, absolutely. Malzahar has to be really wary of the gap close, especially pre-6 that Pantheon has. Got to make sure that he doesn't get hit by the random Q because, you know, Malzahar's passive shield is what usually decides whether he dies or not to these ganks. In the meantime, there's going to be an early Drake being started up by Urgotta. Be kidding me. Control+Alt+Defeat knows here that the Drake is being started. Another trade coming out on the top side. The E does whiff.
Urgotta be kidding me, he's going for this Drake without Gingarifit, without the high DPS to melt down this dragon. They're getting collapsed on even though the Zac is not there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Pac-Man Monarch, he's finished his full clear up in the top side. Now, they're going to be the ones to try to take this Drake. That Decker guy trying to lay down some poke, but I think if I was Urgotta be kidding me, I'd be like, yep, let's see this dragon, guys. We tried it. It didn't really work, and it's going to be a Cloud Drake anyways, so it's not too much of a loss.
Yeah, it's definitely not too much of a loss. Also, you don't want Control+Alt+Defeat getting these early dragons. 7 minutes indicates what about a 23-minute Dragon Soul. It's a 23-minute Dragon Soul is really early, and when you have a strong early game champion like Pantheon, you're happy to sit here and just take all the dragons you can, because he's going to be able to make good use of all of them.
Yep, and now we see
Athlete going up for a gank from the jungle. I don't think the Bobe knows. Unfortunately, Big Doge misses that. Oh, he's not going in for the gank from the river. I'm surprised he's going in from the tribe.
Right, but Camille doesn't actually have flash in this lane. Oh no, that was Big Doge's lane! He's gonna get the sleep, it's gonna be massive damage. Bebo taking so low. The flash forward for Bebo. And Big Doge manages to get the kill, but now here comes Pantheon.
I think that Ornal earlier was a huge deal for Big Doge.
Yep, and now Zucchini manages to get the return kill because he still has his shields up, manages to shield the Orn W. So, yep, it's an even trade.
If that Orn ult landed before, he wouldn't have had to flash forward to finish off the kill. He would have been able to stay back and just been able to flash out when the Pantheon came in. And it happens to the best of us. It's unfortunate. Still a really great play by both Big Doge and Athlete, getting that kill on Bebo in the top lane.
Let's see here. So I Am Athlete is now taking down the Krugs. Pantheon's actually going to stay top and push the wave in. Queso is actually going to stay mid, not do the TP up onto the top side to grab the wave. Instead, it's still going to be the Big Doge. I wonder if Control+Alt+Defeat's going to lane swap once again, because I think if you're the Camille, you would prefer going up against the Orn, but I could be wrong there.
I don't think they are, and I think what's interesting is they should know that the Pantheon reset after that push. They had vision that they were doing the Herald, and they're only now responding to the Herald when it's down to 4k HP remaining.
Yep. I Am Athlete, though, they have the red buff as well. They have vision here. It's going to be the Camille going into the Malzahar, actually. Let's see the fight's going to take it. It's actually going to be a massive suppression here. The Camille ult does come through. Smite comes through as well. Bebo is going to be taken down. Flash out from Queso. He doesn't have a flash to respond. It's going to be 1-0 by Urgotta. Be kidding me, but it is going to be the Herald given up to the side of Control+Alt+Defeat.
Yeah, and the Big Doge is still up in the top lane pushing. The Pantheon's not able to respond. The Camille is still down for another 10 seconds, so he'll likely be able to get at least a plate to answer that Herald being secured.
Yep, and now we see, once again, Zucchini and Queso dueling it out in the mid lane. Pac-Man Monarch is sniffing. He knows Queso still doesn't have the flash, and he knows that Queso doesn't have the ult. So Pac-Man Monarch with the passive might be looking for a dive here. I Am Athlete's actually not very healthy at all. Pac-Man Monarch decides to just go through the wall, drive-by style, and Queso still has to make sure.
Both junglers are in the bot half of the map currently. One getting camps, the other getting a scuttle crab. But I'd like to point out that just the large disparity in the bot lane, even with the Soraka keeping you healthy, the Ziggs and the Zillion do so much poke damage. Look at the CS. Up 28 CS currently at 10.
I'm through for I Am Athlete, I'm assuming. Oh, the silence! The silence makes sure that Merlin isn't able to ult. Now Pac-Man Monarch is in the fight. He summoned the Rift Herald, but I don't think that's going to be the turret going down. Eric29 and Pac-Man Monarch, actually, I take that back completely. Blue team's already gotten the first turret. They're running. I Am Athlete taking 300 health and Giga Rift is being knocked up by Pac-Man Monarch. Massive ult by the Soraka, but it's already going to be 2 kills by, you're going to be kidding me. Queso managed try to, you know, get some stuff done, but it's not enough damage for her. Gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, Pac-Man really made that play work there. I was surprised that Zucchini ulted in front of the turret.
The Ignite is down. Queso is going to be taken solo. It's going to be 200 health. Vivo in the meantime on the top side of the map. Ooh, the ult doesn't land. Big Doge not able to get the ult off onto the Camille.
I think Big Doge is too concerned about possibly Bibo flashing out of the Ornn ultimate. Or you're right. My bad. Not flashing. Using the hook shot to dash out. That's. Or maybe the pressure's just getting to them and it's making it hard for them to land their ultimates. Regardless, they're still playing really well. They're only down 4 CS. They're keeping up in lane entirely. Which for Camille against an Ornn, if your Ornn's even, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, at the same time though, gotta be kidding me, they're only 2 kills down, but the Drake as well as the plates down bot and the turrets, that's what equating to a 3k gold deficit, and that's really not what you want to be in this early into the game. I really hope that they're able to, you know, find a solution to this gold situation that they have here. Now it's gonna be not as close of a game as we have in game 1.
Yeah, and like you mentioned in the previous game, we had a 3k goal deficit at 20 minutes. It's currently 12 minutes. That's a much more rapid difference. And I think a big part of it is that they have that really strong early game mid laner who is making their presence known throughout the map.
Yeah, now we see Ziggs already, Landry's already completed for the Ziggs. I think Pantheon's bot, and ooh, there's gonna be a fight. Giga Rift into that Decker guy. He's gonna have the ult onto Merlin. It's gonna be a combo combo. Giga Rift manages to get the Zillion though, but it's gonna be 2 kills already for Control+Alt+Defeat. I Am Athlete puts in, but he managed to get 1 shot. Absolutely a lot of damage coming in from Zucchini.
So I think we're starting to see the consequences of Queso at level 3 burning that first flash. Once the flash was down mid lane, it just unlocked the ability to slam Queso over and over, get tons of kills on this Pantheon. This Pantheon is doing work. Pac-Man Monarch also going around, great ganks, but if you look, the Zucchini has 100% kill participation as a mid laner. Like, yeah. He is everywhere. The map is being played around him currently.
Zucchini is making this Pantheon pick so effective at this moment. Big Doge is trying to get the plating right before 14 minutes after the plating expires. Queso is gonna have the shield to get out of the situation, but the Ziggs bomb will connect. And I don't know if he can defend this turret solo. He's gonna have Soraka help him here. Pantheon comes in. It's gonna be Big Doge being stunned up right at the bottom of the turret.
But Big Doge doesn't even have a completed item yet. Yeah. I don't think he's tanky enough to survive this.
He already has the dash out, but here comes Pac-Man Monarch, who's probably going to be. Ooh!
The Soraka ult was huge!
Dude, Pac-Man loses his life for that. That's massive. That Decker guy with that presence of mind to recognize. Uh-oh, but Eric Big Doge is finally gonna go down. That's pretty sad.
Eric playing spoiler.
Yep, absolutely. Gold deficit is going to balloon to 4K now, and with the top turret being pulled by Control+Alt+Defeat, might be liable to increase. Now, the TP from Eric29 already coming down to the mid lane. It's going to be
Recognizing that he needs to come clear that wave, or else they'll lose the mid turret.
Yeah, but if you're gotta be kidding me, this is gonna be a little bit more suffocating for you in this stage of the game because ooh, now hold on, Queso is actually gonna be TPing to the top side of the map to try to defend that turret. But yep, a lot of map control here for Control+Alt+Defeat. They have the turret advantage.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the vision line, Rift Herald's about to spawn. They have 2 wards in the top red jungle.
Yeah, I am athlete getting Cho'Gath ulti, and here comes Pac-Man Monarch. I don't think that's a lock to survive. Double kill for Neil, and it's gonna be Zucchini and Queso up on the top side. And you know, I am athlete not even able to farm out his blue side jungle, so this is not looking good for Gotta Be Kidding Me. They need to start playing better ASAP. It's not gonna be as well as Zucchini getting ulted by Queso. I feel like that's gonna be an ult of frustration though. That's not gonna be much damage down to the Pantheon, and not the Pantheon. He might be able to get this all in here. Big Doge, he's gonna already get stunned up, and now Eric29 getting that kill. This is gonna be a pretty clinical game put on by Control+Defeat. The Ignite comes in by Zucchini. He has the both mid laners flash to deny Zucchini that kill. It was a really good attempt though.
Yeah, and I think the big thing to notice is that when Control+Defeat went to the front half of the map.
Yeah, I am athlete. Yep, his jungle is gone, and now Pac-Man Monarch goes on a killing spree. I don't think the Caitlyn, yep, not enough damage there, and this is gonna be frustrating if I am athlete, because this is your signature champion, and Pac-Man Monarch has even his jungle, you know, just farmed out completely to a T, and now this is gonna be the second Herald for Control+Defeat.
Yeah, I think this was a big issue with picking Lilia, like we mentioned in Champ Select, that Lilia is not a utility engaged tank. If Lilia falls behind, all they've got is the hope or the prayer that could land a 3 or 4 man sleep and watch the team clean it up. The issue is that Urgotta Be Kidding Me doesn't have a high burst. They have a high DPS over time. So with that sleep, there's no guarantee they'd be able to necessarily pop anyone outside of, say, the Ziggs or the Pantheon.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, here comes Bebo, though. Doge will be able to take this 1v1. It's going to be a pretty... Well, one of the Cho'Gath ults already landed. I am athlete's actually farming right now, but here comes the Pantheon. Silence comes through. It's going to be the Camille ult to lock up the board. Zucchini goes dominating with that play. I am athlete manages to smite his own Grom. The gold lead has ballooned to almost 8,000 gold in 17 minutes. This is really not boding well for Urgotta Be Kidding Me.
Yeah, this is at a point of desperation for Urgotta Be Kidding Me, and I think the big concern is I'm not even sure you win this game if you scale. Zillion scales incredibly well, being able to press arms, someone can give them an entire full health bar second life, and then with Eric on Ziggs, the Ziggs isn't even carrying the game. He can just stand in a side lane and split push, while Pantheon and friends, Charlie's Angels, just do all the work.
Yep, okay, so already taken down. That play when they get the Herald and Herald down bot is so effective. E-team now summons the Rift Herald. This is not even going to charge at the first turret, but here comes Pac-Man. He should be taken down low, but Zucchini goes godlike early sleep. But the Resurrect actually manages to keep him alive. Bebo already in the backside of the map. I am athlete, not much to do there. Gets stunned up. To be the inhibitor down at 18 minutes and 27 seconds. And it's gonna be, are they going for the end here? It's gonna be that Decker guy Queso from the Gator Rift. If the shutdown does finally come before the Pantheon. The red turret is already destroyed. 2 kills though coming in for the Malzahar, Eric29 and Merlin. Only 2 members left in this assault, although the poke is gonna be really, really heavy. And they managed to retreat.
So let's talk about possible win conditions for Urgotta Be Kidding Me here. In the team fights, when it's a 5v5 team fight, they showed there that even with their turrets going down almost instantly, they were able to keep up for the most part. I think for Urgotta Be Kidding Me, you've just got a 5-stack. You're conceding this upcoming dragon. You say, oh, they're not trying to concede the upcoming dragon. They're going to try to sneak it before the reset. But I think if they do that, Control+Defeat is going to head straight to Baron. It spawns in 38 seconds. they're going to be able to get vision control around it. But instead, Control+Alt+Defeat decides they're going to go retest this dragon, even though only has 5k health left. Pac-Man's in. He's going for the smite. They're silenced. He smited early, but he still was able to clutch it up. I apologize for taking your job as play-by-play, but here we go. Athlete is stuck with his Zanyas, and now with 2-1 down.
Oh, they were creating the Devo goes in 1v3. Let's see if he manages to get Queso. The silence does come in. Keeps on taking solo. Cho'Gath comes in. Now it's gonna be Big Doge getting Cho'Gath ult. Eric29 goes on a rampage. This is looking very dire. The Zillion ult also comes in. That Vector guy not long for this world. Bomb's already on him. Bye-bye. Double kill for the Ziggs. It's gonna be the turret being taken down. Finally a shutdown for Eric29 fighting, taken low. It's gonna be the flash from Gingariptic. He's trying his hardest, but Merlin lands a double bomb. I don't even think he can get this turret. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Pantheon is already pushing it in. Now Lilia only there to defend with the Caitlyn, but this is looking mighty dire. 9k gold lead, Control+Alt+Defeat, knocking on the door. I forgot to be kidding.
Yeah, and once they get this bot inhibitor down, they're just gonna recall, go set up Baron, and it's just a textbook finish from there unless they.
Before it gets taken down, Gingariptic is actually going to suppress the Pantheon. Double kill. This is, knock on wood, a turn of events for Urgotta. Be kidding. It is a desperation play though. Control+Alt+Defeat's execution wasn't the best there. Meanwhile, they are going to be retreating. Pac-Man Monarch getting the last of Urgotta. Be kidding his jungle. And once again.
Yeah, Control+Alt+Defeat apparently using a used textbook instead of a new one, because textbook play is not go crazy there. It's just get the inhib, reset, and go for Baron. But they're feeling themselves, and not surprisingly so, they're up 3 dragons, 7,500 gold, 22 kills to 10. You've got to imagine these guys are like, oh man, we're just playing with our food now. That's how Urgotta Be Kidding Me can get back into this game, is if Control+Alt+Defeat keeps playing sloppily like that, especially around this upcoming Baron fight. That Baron swing can be enough to get them several turrets, objective bounties as well, and bring them back into this game.
Pac-Man Monarch going in, 1v3 in the mid lane. Eric29 keeping I am athlete down solo. The bomb manages to connect. That Vector guy already used the ultimate and his heal. Not long for this world. Double kill for Eric29. Gingariptic and Queso running away. Pac-Man Monarch still has to pass this. Queso supports the flash, but guess what?
Oh no.
There's TPing in the back side of the map. Queso getting taken down. Eric29 with this massive ult coming in from the Zillion. It's going to be the Big Doge, and it's going to be game over. It's going to be Control+Alt+Defeat winning the series 2-0 and punching their ticket to the final.
Are they not going to do it? They might not. Oh, the wave is there. Okay.
The wave is there.
But Athlete spawning in 2, Decker spawning in 2, Gingariptic spawning in 12. I don't think it's enough to save the game, but they're going to give it their best shot here.
Yeah, the Ziggs bomb already taken down the turret, and it's going to be an engage from Devo. Cho'Gath ultimate already comes down. Eric29 goes on a rampage. Nexus finally going to go down in this Control+Alt+Defeat that will emerge victorious.
Yeah, and that series was a great series. Given that when you expect a 13-1 team against a 6-8 team, anyone could have expected Game 1 and Game 2 to both look like how Game 2 was. Game 1 was an absolute treat. I would have loved to have seen the same thing for Game 2 and Game 3, but at the end of the day, you win some and you lose some.
Yep. Unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the road for Urgotta Be Kidding Me. Really good attempt onto the game 1, but unfortunately, Control+Alt+Defeat, they were really feeling themselves this game 2. Their execution was a way more clinical, even though their early game wasn't as snowbally. But, their mid game, the objective plays, trading the Drake for, trading the Herald and then going down bot, getting the turrets, making sure the Ziggs is very healthy, making sure that the Ziggs bomb is used on the turrets, getting the lead that way. That's really, really clean and rehearsed gameplay coming from Control+Alt+Defeat.
Yeah, this was just a really well-played game from Control+Alt+Defeat. I think Urgotta Be Kidding Me kind of kept the flow from the previous game where they were doing a lot of fighting, but once the Pantheon got ahead, I think they needed to just try to pause the fighting as much as they could. But with a Zac and a Pantheon in the mid lane, it's really hard to say, hey, I'm not going to fight you guys. This guy is going to go in all the time. Zac is going to go in all the time. And unless you have really good deep vision for that Zac, there's not much you can do about it. And that got displayed really heavily in today's game.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think we're going to call it a night. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Pathfinder, and co-casting with me was V. And I think it's gonna be next week on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. I believe is gonna be the finals for Coach Rival Summer 2023.
And real fast, we want to thank our partners who help make this happen. WeThink is providing several grants to our competitors this summer for participating in team building surveys. Esports Gear has designed a ridiculously awesome summer jerseys. Portions of those go to our nonprofit, the Phoenix Gaming Foundation, our Patreon server, and Twitch subscribers. Your donations go straight to the nonprofit funds as well. Gwoop is just an all-around great training tool for pregame and postgame, and also love to promote the Games and Online Harassment Hotline is a free text message-based confidential emotional support hotline for gamers. If you are experiencing toxicity or need help with your own in-game tilt, you can reach them to chat. With that, we'll see you next week for the finals.
Bye bye.